Hey, CoupleyFit fam. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are talking about marriage, but specifically something called financial dating and how this also plays into marriage expectations.
I'm telling you what, right now, some people have some false expectations out here.
Listen, we're going to get into a viral clip that you saw that I'm shocked. I'm shocked by.
People are saying it's treacherous out here in the dating world.
I heard it's treacherous waters. But before we get started, if you are watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Our podcast episodes drop every Tuesday. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. We're everywhere, y'all. Stay tuned. All right, let's get into it. So first and foremost, money is the number one source of conflict in marriage. What do you think about that?
They're absolutely right. I mean, because I feel like money can be the number one conflict without marriage.
That's period.
Like if you have no marriage going on and the money is funny or the change is strange,
Come on.
things getting a little bit weird, just internally of like, ooh, I would really want that, but you know what? I can't afford it. So add in a partner, add in wants that you both have, add in potentially a kid, right? Or just you're adding in the baggage of two people coming into a marriage, and now you're talking about financial barriers or challenges. You already know it can be difficult to talk about or something you don't even want to get into.
Right.
So some people just keep it completely separate and things get worse.
Yes. And to your point, right? We've heard separate bank accounts and then we have a joint bank account where that's where the bills come out of is the joint account. But then, you don't know how each person is using their money. We've also heard of allowances.
So the
allowance, that is so triggering.
The allowance is egregious.
Am I a child?
The allowance is pretty egregious. I agree. When you hear a couple of stuff like, I got my spouse or my partner on an allowance, you're like, your who? Your child or your partner? That's one. The second one, to your point, that I don't really like when I hear people say when couples do the separate accounts, like we have joint accounts, we have shared accounts, but people that have separate accounts, I hate when a partner says like basically you ain't got no money, but I got money.
I've got money.
I got money. I'm good. You ran through your money, and I just feel like that approach, again, now if somebody's not good with money, right, and you have to be mindful, that's one thing, but just to kind of have that
But that's also what it sounds like. It sounds like, right? That sounds
true.
like somebody's the spender, somebody's the saver.
That's true.
And somebody knows how to budget, somebody doesn't know how to budget. And so I think that, that's something to be taken into consideration, because if you are the person that is doing the budget and you're the one that's trying to keep the finances in order, but yet your partner is just spending swipe, then that's very challenging.
Amazon boxes showing up every day.
Every day. And telling the Amazon, there's a doormat now that says, move my Amazon boxes to the side of the house so my husband doesn't see it. I mean, it's a whole doormat, and it says all of those words on this doormat.
And then you got wives. What's the thing what you said, girl math? You taught me this. I had no idea this even
girl
existed.
math. So let's say I buy something for $100, if I wear it 100 times, it's free. What do you mean? I got my money's worth.
I do understand having your money's worth, but I do see how that math is.
I personally don't believe in that. As the one that's the budgeter, I don't believe in that, but that's all over social media. Girl math.
It's a slippery slope is what it tells me.
I bought a pair of $800 Louboutins, and I wore them 800 times, so they're free.
So here's what I will say. If you do spend that much money on something, I do appreciate that they wore it 800 times. So I will just say that. That's one.
That part.
I want you wearing those every day if you can, right? Those are going to be your everydays now. But also it works both ways, right? Because we were on a podcast recently, shout out to Jay, but Jay Elevate was like, man, I'm buying, $2,000-$3,000 worth of shoes. I was like, I love sneakers, but oh boy, that's a mortgage payment. So it can work either way in a relationship. But I think also what we talk about is it's important to have these discussions either pre-marriage, or if you didn't have it pre-marriage, have it right now. It's never too late.
It's never too late. And that's actually a perfect segue into something else I wrote down, which is singles worry about financial compatibility before saying yes to commitment.
Yes.
So I think that's very key. Are we financially compatible? And we're going to ask a question here in a little bit that is maybe a trigger warning for some. As we ask a little bit later in the episode, you want to stay tuned because this will be a riveting discussion.
Yeah.
But I want you to quickly go into the viral clip that you saw that prompted us to actually create this episode around this topic of financial dating.
Yeah, I mean, I saw there was a lady said she wasn't going on a date if somebody didn't put down $1,000 deposit.
Okay.
Is that the one?
Okay, that's the one.
I mean,
That's the one. But here's my
aback.
question too. I mean, if it was $1,000 or $20, is it simply the fact that you're paying to go on this date, or is it the fact that it was that you're even asking?
It's all of the above. So I don't care if it's $20 or $1,000. I feel like to put it simply, I feel like we come from an era where, like, if I'm getting to know you, what is the deposit for? Like, literally, we're supposed to be getting to know each other and connect. Okay. I don't understand.
I understand where you're coming from. Let me ask you.
I'm ready.
Because you're the one that saw the clip.
Yeah.
You can't wait to go into the comments too. Ooh, y'all.
Gotta
one thing
do a
about
deep dive.
Kurt is he's a fan of the foolishness. But it's 3 generations deep, y'all. Just know that. Just know.
Just a little fan.
So you're a fan of the foolishness. So you went into the comments.
I did.
And either what were the comments saying, or what was the rest of her caption saying? Why was she asking for $1,000?
So I got some additional context.
Okay.
And what helps is that, and this speaks to the era that we're in, which I think is a part of the financial dating, is that, come to find out, this is a former Olympian that went viral with this clip, but it sounds like she's a part of the OF or the OnlyFans era as well. So that adds a layer of complexity. Because I was trying to figure out the $1,000 a deposit, but now this sounds like a whole separate business model. But I think it also goes to the era.
Not business model.
I think it goes to a whole separate era, though, that we're living in right now, where it's about, when you say financial dating, it's about this fast money. It's about this, what are you going to do for me era. And I think so many people are getting consumed by that. So that was one more context that came from the comments. But I think there's also these other trending viral clips that we're seeing where women going out to eat, and they're purchasing food for the date and for later, or for their kids.
That's unacceptable.
So I'm just saying that, like, these are all, even though, take the OnlyFans out, to me, that's you're talking about a $200-300 date. But I'm paying for your kids, for meal for tomorrow at work.
Well, hold on.
That's crazy.
Hold on. I'm just going to throw this out there.
I'm ready.
This is, again, these are not my personal opinions or
go to
thoughts.
the comments. What are the comments saying?
My comments would say, if you're dating me, you're dating my kids. So you will eventually have to buy me a meal and my kids a meal. So why not start now? You know now.
So I hear what you're saying. And
you know now.
And can I tell you what that prompts me? It goes back to the financial compatibility. It ain't tricking if you got it. So if someone is going into it with the understanding of,
but most people ain't got it.
That's my point. So if you're coming into the situation, and let's also talk about the fellas, because there's a lot of fellas that are putting themselves financially forward, where you're presenting yourself with your finances.
Let's be real here.
Is what you're basically saying. I'm not going to give you quality time.
Yes.
I'm not going to necessarily be romantic. I'm not going to do all of these other things. The finances are why you're here. So you got to understand, if you get somebody that's only about the finances, but that's how you presented yourself.
When the money gets funny,
don't be surprised if
when they start acting strange.
Come on now, or don't be surprised if someone else comes to the table with more money.
Absolutely.
And they jump
and they're gone. Yeah.
It's almost like a client in business. Somebody's offering more benefits, and they jump to the next opportunity.
Well, again, right, you're going to value add. What is your value add? And the value add that you're talking about, at least from the male standpoint, is I financially have the money to be able to support all of your aspirations and, whatever you want to purchase and buy, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to a value add of compatibility. You can rely on me. I am somebody that we're partners in this thing called life.
Yeah. And
it's not just about if you only bring this one thing to the table and anything shakes within that one thing, I'm either gone.
No,
potentially.
No, you're absolutely right, because we see it happen in an instant, right? Whether you're a pro athlete and you're married to somebody and they're a WAG, right? Wives and athletes, the wives and girlfriends that are athletes. And
which
then
that's sensationalized
on social media. Everybody wants to be a housewife or a WAG. And then today, you look at this week, cuts are happening.
Yes.
So NFL players are going to be getting cut. They're cutting down from 90 plus people that are currently on rosters down to 53. So when you look at that, people are losing their job. What happens to your partner if you don't have that title anymore?
Right.
Do they still want to be in a relationship if that's what you brought to the table? I love what you said about the compatibility too, because when I think back to us dating, right, we're going back, 10 plus years ago, right? We've been married for coming up on 9 years. But I think about the compatibility. One of the things very early on was I wanted to know, are you going to get to know me for me? Or are you getting to know me for whatever reason? So like our first date,
Okay.
so I'm just going to, perfect
Yeah.
example of that is our first date was at Dave & Buster's. It wasn't
Right.
$1,000 dinner
No.
where I was, putting down the black card
No.
saying this is how I can wine you and dine you. It was literally, it was a $20 power card. We're having a good time, getting to know each other. But I thought it was very genuine. So I use that as an example that there are women out there, there are men out there that aren't just in it for the money. It's not just about financial dating. They're genuinely trying to get to know somebody. And I felt like that was our scenario because at the time there was no money. There was no jackpot money and like all of those things.
Yeah, correct. And right at that time, your aspiration was to be an NFL player, although that was not something that I even wanted to invest into. We had that conversation of, oh, you're playing, I'm good. That's okay. You kind of do your own thing and, we can see where this goes. But ultimately, we realized that exactly what you said, right? It was, we were kind of fresh out of college, so you're broke. Like, you don't really have that much money. I was working full-time in food and beverage, and so you're working off of tips. You're hoping that people are, and we're going to do another episode on that, by the way, because we have some stories.
Server life.
We have some tea for y'all on that. But, so we didn't have that much money. And again, we were never the people that are acting like we have something when we don't. I think that's what we're seeing now, especially with social media, because you're seeing everybody's highlights, specifically on Instagram. I do feel like with Snapchat and TikTok, people are being a little bit more real. Yeah. It's a little bit more of like, this is true reality, where like I'm rolling out of bed, my hair's, messed up. I'm just looking how I typically look every day, as opposed to getting myself done up for Instagram. But we're seeing that with the highlights that are happening on social media, people are then saying, well, if that person has that, then I should definitely have it.
Right.
I deserve it. And don't get me wrong, I think everyone deserves the lifestyle that not only they can afford, but the lifestyle that is compatible to where you are within your money range.
I'm laughing right now because there's something, we were just at a family reunion, and
Yes.
one of my cousins who's coming up in college right now told me that, the person that she's dating, when he proposes, how many carats did she say she wanted?
You know what?
How many carats? How many carats did she say she wanted?
4 or 5 carats?
I thought she said 6 carats. It
She
was
said-
something.
She said 4 or 5 carats, but remember we looked because I saw Ronaldo's fiance's ring, and that was something like 30 carats. It was wild. So then I got a message to Ronaldo. Let me throw this in the chat GPT and see what it spits out. On average, they said normal people, which, come on, normal people is around 1 carat. They said like celebrities are closer to 4 or 5 carats, and then they went on from there. But I was, wow.
And I just want to put into perspective the type of long.
But he's got it.
That's where I was going. The type of long money Ronaldo has.
Ronaldo's got it.
Anytime your prenup goes viral, they had the prenup go viral.
Oh, I didn't see that.
When I read the prenup, the just to put in perspective the amount. So when people talk about a 30 carat, or I think the prenup said if they divorce or they split up, she gets, I think it was like $2 million a year for like forever. It's like, and this is like playing it small, because this is if it doesn't work.
Yes, this is her alimony, essentially.
Basically, he's got that much money. But I think the problem, to your point, in the influence and social media era, there's so many people faking. People are looking at the 0.001%, which is a superstar soccer player, and now that makes you're making that the bar.
Yes.
Or if Ronaldo is at 30 carats and that's the high, you're making the bar 4 carats. 3 carats. And it's like, do y'all understand how expensive that is?
Especially if you want, you start talking clarity, you start talking diamond.
You haven't even started going into
You haven't even started going
into
into
that. She didn't even say that. She just said
want
carats.
custom? Do I want custom? Do I want engraving on the inside of my ring? This all costs money, y'all.
And then I asked her the question, well, I said, cuz, what does your partner do? She said, well, this is what he wants to do. This is what his job is going to be.
This is the potential.
This is the potential. And I said, let me stop you right there. I said, based on the conversation that we're having, if you want 4 to 5 carats, that sounds like something 20 years from now.
Yes.
Once he reaches and achieves
a 10-year anniversary.
A 10-year anniversary. That's
when it's the diamond anniversary, I need a new one.
That's a 25
that's
year.
A maybe.
That's a 25-year ring that you guys do a re.
Like
what? That's your ring 2.0. Mm-hmm. Your first ring is he's still got to pay off the school that he's going to.
Yes, it's
to
giving
get the
starter
job.
ring,
It's
just like a starter house.
And I feel like the perfect example of it though is like almost like a car.
Yes.
And I feel like we had humble beginnings. I remember my first car, which really wasn't even my first car. It was my sister's car that became mine because I got an older sibling. So it's like it was a hand-me-down. And I remember like taking stuff out of her trunk to like clean it up, right? Because it's like
but it's a blessing that you have a car.
What? I just wanted to get from point A to point B.
That's it. I don't care what. I just need to get there.
I'm not walking.
Preferably not manual.
And I'm not asking anybody for a ride. I just remember that feeling was like, what? Whoa. That's kind of what it needs to be. That's what it needs to be in the first ring. You went from being single lady to now I'm engaged or married. Be grateful for whatever that is. And also know this doesn't have to be the forever ring. Mm-hmm. You can always reinvest. You can add to it. You can stack rings on top of it. Mm-hmm. But I think we just can't. I think it gets so downplayed, the humble beginnings nowadays.
You're absolutely correct. Here's something that I want to mention.
I'm ready.
A woman gets asked when she gets proposed to.
Let me see your ring.
Let me see your ring.
That's true.
Let me see your ring. So, number one, that's added pressure on whoever the partner is. That's in this situation, we're talking about a heterosexual relationship, right? So, for a man to propose to a woman, I would assume, has that pressure of, okay, this ring is going to almost symbolize my love for you. Yeah. Let's be honest. Because there's been a couple of times where we've seen some other people's rings, and then we've also, like, you hear behind you hear the reactions, but then you hear the chatter behind, and it's like, oh, that wasn't, it was what is it called? Not the nuggets. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's not like a full diamond. It's listen, people talk crazy.
People get disrespectful when you break out
Yep. Oh, and then they start thinking like, ooh, he must not really love her. Ooh, he must be like struggling. Ooh, he must be broke.
And let me pause right there. No, I appreciate you saying that because
throw that out there.
Because again, let's pause right there though. Is it about what other people have to say? Or is it about the actual love, the relationship?
For most people, yes.
But that's the problem. So if you're getting into a marriage because of what other people have to say about the ring, about where you're living, about what type of car you're driving, about all of those things, all of those material things can change. Absolutely. And that's probably one of the biggest things that happen where you see the stories all the time, right? Mm-hmm. Where I literally just saw another viral story of a wife divorced her husband and the husband hit the lotto for like 73 million. I just saw that. And he literally is looking, and the guy looks very much like a rural lotto winner. Like the lotto stud. And he looks like, I have no idea what just happened. But I say that to say, do you now love him again because now his financial situation changed?
Yes.
And he has
right? If you were there for that and that's what he brought to the table or that's what he was promising you, then yes, I would think, yes.
And so to your point, when you go back to the promising and the expectations, I think that's such a big point because I think something that happens a lot of times is if you're coming in and you're tricking or you're coming in and you're setting this high bar,
representative.
You're sending out, and that's what happens.
Come on now.
Everybody, when you're first dating, even if you think about people's dating profiles, we were pre-dating profile era, but people that are in the dating profile era, literally, you're putting forth your representative.
Yes.
High camera angle, so you look you look your leanest or your most, your whatever your best angles are, right? You're showing yourself off. Maybe it's an older photo, right? It's whatever those things are.
It's all the positives.
None
it's
of the
all
negatives.
The angles. It's all of, this is the best version of myself. But as we know, you're not always your best.
Correct. And then you're meeting somebody, it always sounds good when you say, oh man, perfect example, when we're dating, it would have sounded real good if I would have came in on our first date and said, oh yeah, I'm about to be an NFL player and I'm about to take care of you, girl. You don't have to work.
Yes.
You don't have to have a job. You don't have to do anything but just look good, look pretty. That's what some would say. That was not what I said. I was the opposite. I wanted to really get to know you. Right. One of my early questions were, what is your work ethic? Well, I had two real early questions. Well,
I don't know
three.
if you asked me that, but
well, no, these are
maybe observations.
Observations.
Yes.
But my early question was, do you cook?
Man,
That was an early question.
Y'all, we almost didn't go past this first
Come on,
date.
y'all,
I
just
want to
keep
let
it at
y'all
100.
know.
I'm telling y'all what.
I said, who?
Can you
know
cook?
what?
Can you cook?
Can you cook? Like, what you talking about?
Secondly, I want to see what your athleticism looks like. How are the lateral movement? Because if we're gonna have kids and move this thing forward, got to make sure my son's getting picked early early at recess. That was important. Thirdly, I wanted to be able to see what was your work ethic like. So instead of me asking about your work ethic, I saw in dating you, you weren't always available because you're like, hey, I'm working a double on Saturday.
Literally.
I'm working a double on Friday. Hey, I'm going to school. Like, I just finished up school, but like, I'm in this program and I'm working full time. To me, those are signs that are very impressive, that you had your own car, your own place. You're not looking to your parents or to someone, a sugar daddy or somebody to pay your bills. You're paying them yourself. Those are all signs that when you marry someone that's doing things and they're independent, that they're going to stay independent, or that's at least the foundation. Yes. So for me, that was very important, because it wasn't a scenario where you're looking at me like, I literally just had somebody, a former teammate of mine on Facebook, posted that he met somebody out at the airport. He bought a drink before the flight. She followed up with him the next week and said, basically, really sad news. I'm struggling with my bills. Basically, can you help pay my rent? He was like, I just met you. Like, I literally met you on Saturday. You're asking me for help on your rent on Monday. Like, whoa, this is already a sign that you're going to need to take care of this person.
Yes. So 2 things, and we're going to go on to the next topic. But the first thing, when you said also about working, how I wasn't always available, I instantly went back to, I remember we were at the In-N-Out. That's right over there in Tempe, off of, what was that? The 202 and, what's that, Rural?
Well, let me just pause there at how many people can't go to In-N-Out on a quote unquote date.
Oh yeah,
is that considered as that's too cheap? That's
I think that might have been
cheaper.
and that might have been maybe the 3rd or 4th date. And I remember saying to you, I was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know, like, I'm coming from work, so I may not necessarily like smell the freshest. I literally had like stains on my shirt from, food and things like that.
I smelled that country fried steak.
So I was like, I just want to let you know, but I'm just like, I'm working, so either you take it or you leave it. If you're like, ooh, I didn't know. So,
I was excited that you came in there smelling like hard work.
Ew.
I'm just being honest.
Anyways, okay, so now let's dive into something else. Okay, so these are questions early on to ask when you're dating. So we're not going to necessarily talk about them, because I want to make sure that we get to this question that I think is very interesting. So the first question is, do you save or spend money? That's something that's very key when you're talking to the other person. Because are you the saver or are you the spender?
And sometimes it's
Are we both the spender?
That's true. Everybody ready to
saying?
Make it rain. But to that point, I just wanted to say, saver or spender, also not just hearing somebody's words, but watching their actions.
Correct.
Because
actions always speak louder than words.
They're representative. Everybody's going to give you the right answer.
Of course. Oh, I save so much.
I'm always saving.
All right. Do you believe in splitting bills 50-50?
Oh, yeah. Just so you know,
or is one partner expected to contribute more?
This is going to shake some things up. This right here might shut down a few dates. Just asking this question on a date with somebody might shut it down. Yes. But that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. If they're not the one, let's go ahead and get them out the way.
And don't waste your time.
How many people?
But I'm also not saying like these are not first date questions, right?
Correct.
This is.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
These are not first date questions.
The bill might be coming out. She might have her kids order on the menu. Might have to ask that question.
Well, then that's the end.
That
right?
would be the end.
You now know, okay.
Or that might be when you ask the question.
This is one of my money deal breakers right here. You are adding in additional meals for your kids that I've never met. I'm just meeting you for the first time. Deal breaker done. Got but your actions spoke louder than your words.
Your actions said you're already a liability and not an asset.
Okay, now. So do you believe in splitting the bills 50-50, or is one partner expected to contribute more? I think that's a very key question. I also highly recommend that you check out one of our previous episodes where we talk about pre-marriage questions to ask. Very good episode. We dive deep. We talk about, even religious beliefs and
it's important.
How do you believe in raising kids? So those type of things. Now, how do you feel about debt? Student loans, credit cards, car notes.
People might clear their throat when you say this. You start talking about the credit score and the debt. People gonna be at the table like, wait. So how many? Then you start asking the question. Wait, But you telling me you got debt? You got $300,000 worth of debt, and you didn't finish school. You went to undergrad, law school, PhD. You didn't finish any of those programs.
Come on.
Girl, we got to talk about this.
Can't do it. Well, interesting enough, right, when we do talk quickly about student loans, because thankfully, right, you being an athlete, you had your education paid for. Like, such a blessing. For me, I had to literally, that's part of the reason why I was working in college. I'm paying for my education, but I do still have to take out some student loans because, for example, if you know in the hospitality space, summers are treacherous. You have to not only work your behind off, double the time, but you also are not making as much, especially here in Arizona because it's so hot. People are getting out of the state. So I remember that was a conversation that we had, but it was a little bit later on where I think we might have already been married or close to it, but we had the conversation about, I said, hey, this is where my, student loans are.
No.
I just want you to be aware of it. I think this is something that is beneficial for both of us. And with budgeting, we'll be able to pay it off, but I don't think it's fair that I hold on to this debt without you having the knowledge before we either jump into the situation and get married. I think we need to have a full conversation about this, at least to put everything on the table, because that's what you have to do before you get married. Like, you have to put everything on the table. It's extremely hard. It's uncomfortable. It's weird. It's probably nothing you've ever seen before, especially when it comes to maybe your parents. If they weren't the ones that are transparent like that, then it's like, this just feels so foreign. But that's what's going to end up saving you in the long run, is being able to just, let's put everything on the table. This is where we're at. And I have literally seen, unfortunately, engagements kind of get cut off because it's like, hey, you're $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in debt, and I didn't sign up for this. I'm not going to come into a marriage and already have to be in debt. So it's a hard conversation, but
no, but I appreciate you mentioning that because, and I always like to use us as an example. I was a student athlete, did have a full ride, right? So I didn't have any debt from college, which was a huge blessing. But I was glad that you were transparent about that, and that was something that we discussed. But also, fellas, I had an opportunity in that moment because, one, I was presented with the information, but two, I was able to also see your level of work ethic and who you are because, let's be honest, right? I'm coming into that situation without any debt. So if we are going to take this on, I'm not in a situation where we're taking on this debt as a marriage together. And you're also saying, I don't want to work. I don't want to use my degree.
Right.
I want to be a stay-at-home. I'll be like, man, wait, hold on. We taking on this debt, and now you're telling me you don't want to necessarily use your degree or use what this debt is for to contribute. That, to me, that would have been more of a challenge.
Agreed.
That would have been something that would have been like, wait. I don't. But there were people that I went to school.
Let me ponder on this.
But there were people that me and you both went to school with. I know, ladies in particular, I had some classmates that were like, yo, I'm getting this degree, but like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. So that is just a different conversation if you have student debt and they're like, wait a minute, I thought we were going to be a 2-income household.
Yes. All right. This is the question that may trigger some, but open up conversation for others. Would you date someone who earns significantly less than you? Ooh.
I'm going to already throw this out there that the fellas, I think this is a lot easier for the fellas. And this is something I just saw go viral. I just saw this go viral.
Absolutely.
And I feel like it almost gives you...
Because men are still seen as being the providers.
And it almost gives you a little bit of pretty... It almost gives you a little bit of Pretty Woman, right? Like the movie Pretty Woman. Like people always, I can save her. Like, let me... She's got potential. Like I saw her on the side of the road, but you dust her.
Not the side of the road.
You could dust her off. You could dust her right off. She could be the one. Like a guy could literally see that. And there was a guy. He just went viral for talking about this. He was like, "How many scenarios do you see a woman go to a fast food line and see a guy and she is worth $200 million and she's like, you know what? That fry, the way you dip in those fries, you got so much potential. Let me go ahead and take you out of here and make you my husband." But someone just said, Anthony Davis, and again, it's not they said he, again, $300 million in his bank account. And I think he just either got engaged or married to someone that I think was working as a server at a restaurant, right? So very different paths and incomes, right? But I think for guys, it's a different approach. I think ladies, I don't think they're going for it as often.
Significantly less.
So what's significant?
Here's the thing. There's, in my opinion, there are a lot of factors that are not being talked about.
I agree.
Right. So number one, is he in school? Are
potential?
Right.
potential.
But potential will get you beat.
It will get you beat. I had a coach tell me that.
I know
Potential
you did. So potential will get
beat.
you beat. There's been a shift now with more women not only making more money than their husbands, but also making significantly more than their husbands. If he is in a position where when you met, he was motivated, and now he's not as motivated because you're the one that's making most of the money, and it's like, I can kind of chill,
hubby sitting
relax,
back like these.
you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at my fantasy football team, right?
Feet up,
Kicking it. That's very different because, again, what we're then going to start seeing is there's going to be a lack of respect.
We do see that.
And we have literally seen and heard that there's been, people are talking about you broke.
Yeah, you
don't have the money. You don't have any say because you don't have the money. So there can be the respect factor that is shifted, which for men, that's one of the main things that men are looking for is respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T?
Correct. So there's that, right? So number one, are you trying to better yourself and you're just in a limbo phase right now? Like, are you trying to get your master's? Are you trying to get a certification?
Are you in med school and it's going to take 6 years?
Correct, right? And I have to kind of carry you until you get your pop.
Are you rapping but your album hasn't hit yet?
That's something very different. But if you do see somebody... If you
I'm
do see somebody right that now? It's you start something and then you quit. You start something and you quit. Then that's, in my opinion, that's very different.
Red flag.
It's a red flag to me because I'm making significantly more, but I'm carrying you.
Yeah. As
opposed to I'm carrying you for a time period until you can carry yourself and then contribute to what we have going on. And also, where are you age-wise? If you're in your 20s, honey, we're all trying to figure it out.
You can't be in your 40s. I'm 45. I'm starting over.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been thinking about getting in the... thinking about being a pilot.
Now,
it ain't never too late.
It's never too late to start over, right? It's never too late to get
your
education.
But is this number 10 on the trial?
Yes, on the trial and trying to figure it out. And are we actually wasting more money than contributing to you being able to make more money?
Correct.
So I do think that there's a lot of factors that contribute to this question. And then also, right, what is considered significantly less? Am I making, 150, 200 and you're making 30? Well, hey, that 30 can be vacation fund. That can be, we're just using that for our date nights and this and that, right? It just depends, I feel like, in my opinion. And then also, let's get to personality. If you're also a woman who's like, hey, listen, I'm cool being the breadwinner, but I need you home. I need you taking care of these kids. When I get home, I want a home-cooked meal, right? Where those roles are reversed. Yeah. Societal roles, I should say, are reversed. And you're okay with that, then go for it. That's on you. I think it's very much about what is each person looking for and what is the potential. And will that be something that long-term is going to be, it's a long-term play as opposed to this, it's just never going to happen and I'm going to always be significantly making more than you.
100%. And I think, I love what you said here because there's also some women that are like you said, the breadwinner, but I think personality, how you treat your partner plays a really big role. Because, it kind of reminds me of in a marriage, it's almost like sport. How do you act when you win or when you're on top versus when you lose or maybe you didn't have your best month? So if you are the partner that's now, let's just say there's a flip, right? I.e., it's a scenario where maybe it's an athlete or the breadwinner, someone gets a promotion, now they're making more money. Do you change up and kind of abuse that power?
Right.
Because now you're in control and you feel like I've been waiting on this the entire relationship. I'm going to clench a hold of this and never let it go, right? Or is it like, hey, even if I am making more right now in this season and in this window, but yet I'm just happy about the fact that we have our connection, our love, our relationship. We're still building something together.
Right.
Because you also have partners that are doing careers or roles. Like if you know that your spouse is a teacher, right? Like teachers aren't making, maybe they want to be a principal. Correct. They have a tremendous impact. They're passionate about youth.
Yes.
They're giving their all to their work. Or maybe they work in a nonprofit sector, right? Like you may only make $30,000 or $35,000, but you're doing such important work that fills up like your passion tank every day. Then, boom, we're going to factor that in and say like, all right, I know I'm doing this work that maybe pays more, but like she's doing super important work, but I'm factoring that in and we're okay with that and splitting the responsibilities or whatever the case may be. But you're not saying, oh, I'm making this, they're making that. We got separate accounts. I live off of this, she lives off of that, or he lives off of that. then that wouldn't be fair, and that's probably going to lead to resentment in a relationship.
Absolutely. So when we talk about marriage, it's very important to talk about spending styles.
Yeah.
Talk about your debt. Be transparent when you're talking about it. Are there family financial obligations? That's something we haven't touched upon.
Funeral happens. Do we got to take care of everything?
Funeral happens, but also we're also at the age in our mid-30s where you have to take care of possibly your parents or your grandparents. And that's something that most people don't think of. And then when that happens, it's not only a financial burden, but it's also an emotional, spiritual, mental, it's physical burden as well. In the sense, and what I mean by burden is just, it's something that is in addition to what you already have going on. And yes, in some cases, being a caretaker is a burden, which is why there are caretaker tools and resources for you to be able to tap into. But then also, are you marrying somebody who possibly has kids from a previous relationship? And you're taking that on, and now you have to also be financially responsible for that.
Daycare is expensive.
Hey now, and then when one partner also wants to upgrade, do we want to upgrade on a house? Do we want to upgrade on a car? Do we want to upgrade
ourselves? Come home with some new wheels?
Yes, right? How are you talking about that? Are you setting a budget? Is it something that you're even able to do? Or is this a 5-year, 10-year play that you're going to have to now look into?
Do you have Mercedes-Benz taste with Hyundai funds? Sometimes you got to humble yourself.
Okay. So here is a challenge that we want to give to you. For couples, we want to challenge you to have a weekly money date. Take yourself out of your house. That's something that we just found being a little bit more, not as maybe, I don't know, walls are closing in. I don't know. But go out, right, and treat yourself to, a coffee, a pastry, a light appetizer, happy hour, right? Go for a walk. It doesn't always have to cost money, but have a weekly money date where you're talking about your finances. You're talking about where you are, where you want to go, how do you want to invest, and then, just keeping that going as a challenge. Second, if you are single, create your financial dating profile. Ooh. So 3 money values that you hold near and dear to your heart, as well as 3 money red flags, i.e. these are my 3 money deal breakers.
And make sure you're not one of your red flags. Because I've been seeing that. People be their own red flag and be like, right. I don't want someone that's broke, and they're broke. It's like, wait, hold on.
But you want somebody to come save you. Come on.
Don't save her. She don't want to.
She wants to be saved. She wants to be saved. Perfect. Anything else?
Make sure you subscribe. I mean, this is definitely gems. More marriage tips to come.
Yes.
But this episode is being brought to you by Backlot Studios, Arizona's #1 hub for podcasts. Our episode, we appreciate it. So shout out to Backlot Studios.
Yes, absolutely. If you are watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are following us on social media and seeing our short clips, please follow us at CoupleyFit, CoupleyFit. Until next time, keep growing, glowing, and feeling better together. Bye.